Next, I want to be able to drop food into the fishbowl. Click here to create a new scene, and click on Other Node. This one will also be a character body 2D. We'll call it Food. Go to the 2D view, and then we'll take the food image and drop it into the editor. And then we'll reset the position. And then we'll save the scene. Make sure it's in the game folder. Next, let's go back to the fishbowl. Click on the water button node. Go to the node tab. And this time, this is the signal that we want to use. Go to script. Go to the water button. And then we'll also connect it here. So pressed dot connect, and then on pressed, and then we'll create that function, func on pressed, and then we'll go back to our global script, and we'll create a signal called water clicked, and it will include the global position where it was clicked. And this is optional, but personally I like to make a note of where the signal is being called from and also where the signal is going. So we'll make that later, but we're already making a note about it here. So putting a hashtag just makes a comment. It doesn't run anything in the code. It's just something for you in case you have to put a note there. And then save. And then go back to water button. And now we can put global dot water clicked dot emit. And we'll include the mouse position when it was clicked. So get global mouse position. And then we'll go to fishbowl, create a child node that's a node 2D, call it food container, and put it here. So it's just in front of the fish, and then add a script to it. Make sure that's in the game folder. And then we'll connect it to that signal. So func ready global dot water clicked dot connect on water clicked, and then create that function func on water clicked. Don't forget we have to put the global position that was passed in that signal. And first, let's prepare a reference to the food scene. We can put that up here. So just take the food.tscn, that's the food scene, drag and drop it, and press Command or Control. And that will be the food scene preloaded in this constant. And here we can create a variable, new food equals food dot instantiate, and this will create a new instance of the food scene, and then we'll add that food scene as a child node of the food container node, and then we'll make sure that food is positioned where the mouse was clicked. So it'll use that global position that was passed in the signal. Okay, save that, and let's try it. Next, let's make the fish actually eat the food. So we'll go back to 2D, go back to the food scene, click on food, add a child node, we'll add a collision shape. Go to the inspector panel, click here, get a circle shape, and then zoom in here and make it about this big. So this lets us detect the food object, and then click on food, add a script, and let's add it to a group. Add to group food. So this just makes the food scene easier to identify or call later on. Save that. Go back to fish. Go to 2D. Click on fish. Add a child node. We'll add an area 2D. We'll call it fish area. And we'll add a child node to this node. So while it's clicked, click here and add a collision shape. So you can just click here to select a node type that you recently picked. And again, add a shape here. Circle shape 2D. Make it about this big and move it around here. And then remember how we made the fish face the mouse all the time? So what'll happen is if you click on the sprite and you click here just to preview it, every time it flips direction like that, the collision shape doesn't move. Okay, so if it's flipped like this, we want the collision shape to be here, right? So initially, if we look at the position, if the fish is facing left, we want it here, -56. And if it's facing right, we want it here, 65. And we can do that via script so that it'll automatically change. So let's go back here, uncheck that. And then for the collision shape, just reset the position. So let's go back to the script for the sprite 2D. So just click on this one. And first let's create a reference to the fish area node. So all we have to do is drag and drop, press Command or Control, and then let's go here. So we'll do fish area dot position dot x equals around 55, I think. And then if it's facing the other way, it's around negative of that. Go to debug, visible collision shapes, so you can see them while previewing the game. And let's have a look. So that's working fine, but what happens if we change the appearance of the fish? Like let's say we start using this one. And now the collision shape is not in the right place. So what we can do instead is have the script change the position based on the width of the image. So let's try that. So we can do, instead of putting the number here, we can do texture dot get width, and then divided by 2, and just copy and paste that here, but make it negative. And let's see how that goes. So now that's working great. And let's put it back to this image. And so the collision shape position is dynamically based on the image width. So now let's go to fish area, click there, add a script, make sure it's in the game folder, create, and then make sure to click on the node, and then go to the node panel. And so the signal that we need would be this one, body entered. So let's connect it. Func ready body entered dot connect on body entered, and then func on body entered, and make sure it contains the body that entered. And then if the body that entered is in group food, then delete that body. And we want to play a sound effect when the fish eats. So let's go ahead and add that. Click on fish, add a child node. We'll use an audio stream player 2D. We'll call it sound chomp. And then to create a reference to this node here, we'll do export var sound chomp and we'll specify that we're looking for an audio stream player. And save. And now when we click on this, there's a sound chomp that we can assign here, and just select this, and then we can type sound chomp dot play. Okay, let's try that. So that's working okay, but it seems a little bit buggy. Like sometimes the food gets eaten even if it's not near the fish. And I think it's because if we go back to food container, it's spawning the food, right? Then it's assigning the position based on the mouse position. But before it does that, the food actually starts off in the middle of the fishbowl. And I think it's already getting detected by the fish at that point. There might be a better way to do this, but the hacky way that I'm doing to get around that is to just go to food and add a timer to give it a slight delay. So add a timer node. So click on timer. Make the wait time 0.1 seconds. So one shot. Auto start. And then go to node to check the signals. This is the signal that we want. So make sure we're here in the food script. First, we'll add a reference to the timer. Drag and drop. Press Command or Control. Timer dot timeout dot connect on timeout. And then func on timeout. And we'll also create a reference to this collision shape 2D node. So just do the same here. And then click on collision shape 2D node. Go to the inspector. And then tick disabled. So at first, the collision shape of the food will be disabled. It cannot be detected. And then the timer will time out after 0.1 seconds, and that's when we'll enable it. So collision shape 2D dot disabled equals false. save and try that. So I think that's working much better. Let's add some variety to the chomping sound, just so it's not too repetitive. So let's go to fish, and then click on the sound node, and let's add a script to it. We'll just call it sound. And then we'll put export var sounds array, and the array will contain audio streams. And then func play sound. We'll be putting sound files in here in this array. When we use this function play sound, we want the sounds to be shuffled, so they're in random order. We'll get the first sound, so stream equals sounds 0, because the array index starts at 0, so this will pick the first sound from this array. We can randomize the pitch scale. So pitch scale equals random float in the range of, let's say, 1 to 1.3. So it's going to make the pitch anywhere from the normal to a little bit higher. And then it will play the sound. So we save that. And then let's add sounds to this one. So click here, add an element, and then you can click here. And you can select this one, add another element. Instead of clicking here, you can also choose to drag and drop from here. So select the second chomping sound. And then save. So now when it plays a sound, it should select one of these two sounds randomly, and then randomize the pitch scale, and then play it. So let's go back to this script, fish area. And instead of play, we'll use this function that we wrote. So it will be play sound. And now let's try. So now the chomping sound is a little bit different every time. Next, let's also add a sound to the food when it gets dropped into the fishbowl. Click on food, add a child node, add the audio stream player, call it sound drop, and then we'll add the same script. So look for it here, it's the sound script. And since we're using the same script, when we select the node, we can again just drop sounds here. So click on the array, add an element. We actually only have one sound effect for this one. It's this one, audio bubble. Drag and drop it into there. Go back to the food script. Create a reference for the sound node here. Drag and drop, Command or Control, sound drop dot play sound. Save that, and we can already turn off visible collision shapes. And let's try it. And that's working well.